that's weird quirk number 1. When you start up an Audi R8, it's really loud. Just kidding. That's not part of the list. Let's get into it. So guys, welcome to my 2011 Audi R8. It is the V10. And today I'm going to be showing you 5 or 6 quirks about the car that I think you should know about before buying. They're not negative in any way, they're just kind of silly in a way. So let's go ahead and take a look. The first one that I want to show you is actually underneath the seats. It is the glove box. There are these little tiny glove box things that are underneath the seat, and I have no idea why they put them in here. They are very, very small compartments, so I don't know, maybe they wanted you to smuggle some there, who knows. But yeah, there is one on the passenger seat, and then you have another right here on the driver's seat. Same size and everything. The other thing that is really weird about this car is that in order to open the rear hatch, you have to have your key in the ignition in order for it to actually actuate and for it to open. If you're gonna try it without the key in the ignition and turn to the accessories, it's not gonna open up for you, so kind of weird. For those of you that don't know, the rear hatch is actually right there, behind the driver's seat. So you can tell we're hitting it, but nothing is happening. Ooh, nice little MR2 over there. I see you, I see you. So yeah, like I was saying, we are going to put the key in the ignition, turn it, and pull that hatch. And now we can open up the rear. Kind of funny. And it's also quite silly because if you take the R8 to a shop that's not super familiar with them, you may end up getting a call from them and asking, hey, how do you open up your rear hatch? And you have to tell them, hey, put the key in the ignition, turn it once, and then it'll open for you. The third quirk that I actually find particularly funny has to do with the visors of the car. Usually in a regular car, the visors will flip down this way, but instead, in the R8, they flip towards you. Also, mean. So that is definitely something to get used to. Kind of silly. I have found myself reaching for this multiple times, or I go too far and I end up pulling on the headliner. Just a funny thing, and the passenger side has the exact same thing. This next one is actually kind of a helpful tip, more than a quirk, but I find it interesting because if your battery dies or if you have any kind of issue with your frunk lock or your frunk hinge, this is the solution. So on a normal working first generation R8, if you want to open up the frunk from the inside, you just hit that bad boy on the bottom on the driver's side and you are good to go. The trunk will pop open. Another option, of course, is to hit the middle button right there and it will open it up. But yeah, if your battery is dead or if you're having trunk hinge or lock problems, how do you solve it? Let's take a gander to the passenger side. So we are here on the passenger side, and you know what we're gonna do? We are going to pull on this right here. And that opens up your fuse box, which is kind of a weird place for it in the first place. And then over here, you see this little orange hoop. That orange hoop right there, that is your manual frunk release. So kind of funny that they have the fuse box right there as well as the manual frunk release, but it is helpful in a situation if your battery is dead, because the battery happens to be in the frunk. So if there's no electrical things happening, you know, the battery is dead, you can't access your battery unless you hit that manual hoop down there. Kind of cool. The fifth thing that is definitely quirky in the first generation R8s is that a lot of them came with what's called the Artronic Transmission. Well, that Artronic Transmission is a automated manual. A lot of people hopped into these cars when they first came out expecting them to be more like a traditional automatic where it's just super smooth, or they were expecting it to be kind of like a dual clutch, but they expected it to be a lot smoother, and they were very confused by the experience that the car gave them. Basically, with the Artronic Transmission, what was going on is that there's still a clutch back there that's actuating. You don't have a clutch pedal, but if you put it in automatic mode, the car essentially steps on an invisible clutch pedal for you, cuts power, and then makes that shift happen. It tends to be extremely clunky when you have it in automatic mode, and especially clunky when you don't have it in sport mode, so that is another quirk to consider when you are buying the R8. The final quirk that I want to bring up is that the spoiler in the back, it's tiny, but it looks really cool when you hit 65 miles per hour and the spoiler decides to pop up. When you come to a stop, say you get off an on-ramp, the hell? When you decide to take an off-ramp and slow down, that spoiler then will collapse. It doesn't really add that much downforce, but it's kind of cool. You can also activate it manually if you want to. But yeah, I think that's going to do it for this one, guys. I really appreciate you watching. As a reminder, I upload every single Sunday, and we'll see you in the next one.